Well, we'll call the meeting to order and have roll call.
Ken Anderson.
Here.
Franklin Hahn.
Here.
Gene Hoppel.
Here.
Dave Klinsky.
Here.
Wayne Runnigan.
Yes.
Anybody got any questions, comments, concerned on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve them.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
That was you on the second, right?
Yep.
I guess whenever you're ready.
All right. So please take notice that an application was received from the following persons for a variance of setback requirements. The H&J Miners Properties LLC, and that's in Section 24, Township 102, Range 6 of Houston County in Caledonia Township. They're looking for a variance to reduce property line setback requirements for an addition to a commercial structure. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 5 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, May 19th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered part of the public record, and this was advertised on May 13th of 2026.
So you want to go ahead and explain what your plans are, or?
Yeah, Frank, when I built that storage unit back there, I needed some overrun because people were wanted more stuff. So I moved in two 16-foot enclosed boxes back there and set them alongside my south end of my box, and they were there for 15 years, which I utilized. But I've got a problem being out there. There's maybe woodchucks or groundhogs or something, because them boxes had wood doors and they were chewing holes in my boxes and getting in there and living in the wintertime, and the rabbits were living underneath. And I just decided I got to get rid of them because I want to get rid of the varmints. And it didn't look right anyhow. If I'm going to do anything, and don't really want to lose the space because I've been utilizing it for 15 years. But my intentions are to use the existing wall there and put a 12-foot extension on, just like the other doors, and it's going to blend right in with the building, and it's be cemented, so there's not going to be no more woodchucks and groundhogs and possums and whatever running around there. And what I want to do is put on an addition of 12 feet, but make the door higher. Because as you guys all know, machinery gets bigger and people ask for bigger doors.
No.
And I'm going to make a higher door. I'm not going to go any more wide than 12 feet because that's what the existing doors are on there. It's just going to match in. And I figured that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to ask you guys for permission to see if it's okay. So it's entirely up to you.
Now, you gonna pour a new slab?
Yep.
Okay.
There is no slab there. It's just,
Okay, I got
they
you.
were just setting on ground.
Okay, that's.
See, they were
that's
digging
where the
underneath, and I'm pouring my 12-foot slab for the 12-foot extension, and it's gonna match right in with the other existing building. The only thing that's gonna be is the roof line's gonna be about that much higher than the existing one. because I'm
okay.
Put in a taller door. But it's
Okay.
gonna make it look a lot more neat and clean and simple.
Sure,
So,
sure, makes sense. Any board got questions?
You have any trouble filling up your storage facilities?
no, that's why I wanna build this add-on, because demand is there. And I'm getting demands for people that wanna move something higher than an 8-foot door. You know, they wanna get in there and, if I can get a chance to do this or put a bigger door on, then I can help people out too a little bit. And it's not gonna be much, but it's gonna be something, It blends in, it fits in. And
So you're just looking for 3 feet,
yeah,
basically?
yeah.
From the property line.
Yeah, yeah.
Setback,
See, there's 25 feet there.
right?
I'm using 12 of it. And there's still gonna be room to go around it and everything else without infringing on anybody's property. It's not going to the west, it's not going to the east, it's just going south. There's nothing there anyhow, so it's,
What did the neighbors have to say?
So a straight wall, not a door.
pardon me?
That wouldn't be an access door on the south side either.
No, nope, it'd be a wall. The access door will be on the east side and maybe one on the back side, as the other ones are made, because I got doors on the back and on the front, so it'll have a smaller door on the back like the rest of them and a bigger door on the front. So that's, like I said, I want it to blend in so it looks nice. It's gonna look a lot nicer than them two truck boxes with holes in the back of them.
They're going then.
They're gone.
They're out of there.
They're gone.
Okay.
I got them out of there.
Comments?
And, yeah, I haven't had
Nothing?
a varmint there since I got gone. I don't understand it. They love wood. Chewing on, they were chewing right underneath, right up through the floor. And my big roll-up doors in the back had big holes in them. They were just chewing. They were living in there in the wintertime.
Per the board's discussion prior to the meeting, perhaps Sheldon Township should enact some of those bounties again.
Yeah.
That's Caledonia Township, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's,
We
oh,
have nothing to do with that.
oh, shucks. Okay.
Otherwise, we would.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it says Township Sheldon here.
Does it?
Yeah,
I'll have to make that change.
is that a
Made the
typo?
wrong- Put the wrong.
Oh, yeah, you do have Sheldon there. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to.
We'd love to have you.
Now, as long as it's official, you can employ the
Okay.
bounty on.
Take his taxes too.
Okay, any more questions? Any public comments? You guys got any more questions?
I'm good.
Should we go to the
Slam
findings?
dunk.
So number one, that the variance request is in harmony with the intent and purpose of official controls. Analysis states that this is an existing business within the community that would like to expand their services to serve the needs of the citizens, which is consistent with the goals of the land use plan.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead to two.
Two, that there are practical difficulties in complying with the official controls and the proposed use of the property is reasonable. Economic considerations alone do not constitute practical difficulties. Analysis states that there are no alternative locations at this site because of the parcel size, and the applicant has said that downsizing the addition is not an option since the garage doors are 11 feet wide, so a 12-foot addition is the minimum that can be added.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to three.
Three, that the variance request is due to special conditions or circumstances unique to the property and not created by the property owner. Analysis states that a parcel split that left minimal property with the structure is a unique circumstance that was created by the property owner. However, there is no county review of parcel splits to prevent these situations.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Four, that the variance cannot be alleviated by a reasonable method other than a variance, and the minimum variance which would alleviate the practical difficulty is sought. Analysis states that this is such a small parcel that only minimal construction could take place without a variance. Driveways are required to have a lane width of 12 feet, so just enough area would be left to allow traffic around the south side of the structure, but that leaves no turning radius.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to five.
Five, that the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality nor substantially impair property values or the public health, safety, or welfare in the vicinity. Analysis states that this variance will allow an encroachment consistent with the north and west property lines, and it is not a new building, so will not alter the essential character.
All in favor of five signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to six.
6, that the request is not a use variance and shall not have the effect of allowing any use that is not allowed in the zoning district, permit a lower degree of flood protection than the regulatory flood protection elevation, or permit standards lower than those required by state law. Analysis states that this is an area variance and it will not impact flood regulations.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Make a motion to accept the variance.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to accept the
Second.
findings. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. So do you want to, any discussion before I have Amelia read the proposed motion? Any discussion from the board? If not, would you read,
So it would be a motion to grant a variance of 3 feet to meet the required 15-foot setback to the side property line.
so is there a motion in favor of this?
So move.
Dave, did you do it? Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Ken Anderson,
Aye.
Dean Hoppel,
Aye.
Franklin Hahn,
Aye.
Dave Klinsky,
Aye.
and Wayne Renigan.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Good luck.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Harley.
You can come and help me build it now.
Well, maybe we'll have to get the varmints that were living in there to help us. They'd be free labor.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Oh, let's see, we're probably early, huh? What the, yeah, 5:15. Oh, that was a kid, we trapped gophers and a quarter back then, but that was a
Yep.
long time ago.
Well,
That
that's a long time ago. I remember that too.
Yeah.
Wilmington is
what
still
I
2.5. No,
Okay.
I do a little trapping yet, but not much. Funny thing, when it gets real dry, they quit digging.
Oh, yeah.
You get a little rain and all of a sudden they're all digging.
Yeah.
Badgers don't seem to quit.
We got some of them suckers too now. I don't know where they came from, if they moved in or they had help moved in, I don't know.
Jordan, can you hear us?
Did you get any rain this last shot?
Trying for a Zoom.
Your mic is off. Wait.
With buried down there, I own a little land, not much,
Jordan, can you hear us?
land just west of Lenora.
Oh, it was Jordan. Yes, I can.
Okay. We have to wait till 5:15, but I want to make sure everything was set up.
And we had, where I live, we had 4 tents. Verdell lives on one of our farms a mile up the road. He had 6 tents. And he's bought one of our farms on the ridge, which is less than a mile, but it's on the ridge. That was 3 tents. But
Well, I
it
know
buried
that,
like,
one time.
What'd you get?
Deep.
Total from our last
We
rains,
got half inch or better on the north side of the ridge.
about 3/4 total.
Spring Grove Ridge sure divides.
did?
yep.
That's what the
The
three,
elevation.
4 showers, whatever.
I
it is.
think
Enough to get it split.
Yep.
But the other
Well,
night,
this
it
last one, I got a hair under a tenth.
Oh,
didn't
really?
get enough to
That storm
show them a
came
gauge.
from wind.
Really made my concrete wet.
Huh. Yeah, that's what we don't need is them storms.
Yeah.
But,
It's a crazy year because March you had a 80-degree day and then you get storms all around you. 3 storms, raining and hard in places. Then you get into May and we're having frost every morning. Dry and cool.
okay, we can go. It's,
Ready? So please take notice, an application was received from the following persons for a variance of setback requirements. Jordan Burfield in Section 12, Township 103, Range 6 of Houston County, and it's Sheldon Township. And it's a variance to reduce ordinary high water level setback requirements for proposed dwelling. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 5:15 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, May 19th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered part of the public record, and this was advertised on May 13th of 2026.
Are the applicants here? Would you come forward, please?
I'm Herbert Burfield, George's father.
Okay.
And I'm here too. I don't know if you can hear me, sir. I'm on virtual. Jordan.
Yep, we got you.
So do you want to go ahead and explain to the board what your intentions are?
Did you want to take that, Jordan?
Sure. I can start and then my father can jump in real quick. First off, thank you all for accommodating this virtual call. I'm in Arlington, Virginia. I'm on active Army orders, so I couldn't be there in person. Basically, I wanted to respectfully request you look at this variance request for the, what we want to do is rebuild a farmhouse that's been in the Burfield family name since the 1860s. My ancestor, Watley Burfield, was one of the first Burfields who came to America after the Civil War, moved to Minnesota and built a farmhouse on this land. That farmhouse has been in the Burfield name for 160 years. 5 years ago, my late uncle, great uncle, Frank Burfield, who lived on the land for 40, 50 years, I think, passed away. And then the farm came into my name. And with my dad who's local as the steward of the land. And what we want to do is rebuild the farmhouse, hopefully with the same historic background in the location that's always been. We wanted to actually remodel the original farmhouse, but being from the 1860s, it was just too far gone. So what we did, we recently started taking down the old farmhouse, trying to pull as much from it as we could, so we could include it into the new farmhouse. And then in my application packet, with what we're trying to build it historically correct of a new classic farmhouse that could carry the family's legacy on through. I have two young daughters who I want the farm to go to someday. And the bottom line for us is we want to keep in the Burfield name. We want to continue to be stewards of the land. Agricultural waters, there's Crystal Creek, there's the ponds, we're obviously in the Crystal Valley. And there's unique constraints that has really made it challenging to find an alternate location to rebuild this farmhouse. As we've been going through the permit process, it came to our attention that one of the ponds, which we'll call Pond 3, that's in some of the charts, which was permitted and are functional by my great uncle Frank, approved by the DNR and the county in 1991. Are now being determined as public water and with 100-foot setbacks. So my goal isn't to argue the setback or the public water piece. It's more of basically with that constraint, the constraint of Crystal Creek behind it with 100-foot, which we're not asking anything to go over that setback, as well as the few farm fields that we do have of the tillable land within that valley. There's not a lot of other space to put this farmhouse. And we tried to work with the county. We've been trying to work with the DNR to figure out better places to put it. But when it came down to it, after working with our builder, it's actually going to be more disruptive to try to put it anywhere else. And on top of that, it's important also for the historic piece. We want to keep as much history, not just for me, not just for the family, but also for Houston County. And there's pieces of that farm, like the one of the doors on the basement is one of the first schoolhouses in Houston County was the chalkboard. There's other pieces that we're going to incorporate, including my ancestor Watley Burfield's Civil War brick from the Houston County Memorial, which will go in the fireplace. So again, that being said, we want to continue as much as we can, being stewards of the land. I want it to stay in the Burfield family, trying to keep historically correct. And there's unique circumstances that I did not create and that were created before me, but we're trying to be optimize the best for this land. And I don't know, Dad, if you had anything else to add for the board.
You've kind of said it all, but, mainly, any other location, we're either going to be losing some cropland or we'll have to be setting it up next to existing buildings, which would then have to come down, which is kind of a big expense because I need a machine shed and, that would have to move. So it would be a financial problem for us as well. And like Jordan said, the farm has been in the house has been in that location for a long, long time. And all the other buildings were set in place, with that location for the house. And it's a very nice layout. We hate to disrupt that.
Questions from the board on it?
Pond 3 seems to be the issue, and that was built by the family.
That was, my Uncle Frank added that in 81 or 86.
And then it was permitted in 91.
DNR okayed
and
it
approved,
at the
yeah.
time. It was fine,
And that
but
was.
now they won't, no, suddenly it isn't, so.
Well, wasn't the DNR involved in these ponds when you built them?
Yes, he got a permit from them to do it, and it was at that time a private, what do you call hatchery license, which he had and we still have. I'm not sure how they can suddenly change it to public waters when we have a private hatchery license on it, because we do keep trout in there. And we'd like to continue that. I don't want everybody coming in and fishing them out.
No.
But we're not arguing the DNR's position. We just want to be able to put the house where we think it should be.
Was there any DNR funding at that time?
None that I'm aware of.
I didn't see any in writing anywhere here, but
I don't recall my uncle. I think he footed the whole bill because he really wanted that third pond added. And the ponds used to flow into my neighbor Sandin's 2 ponds. They do not any longer. They haven't for 20 years or more. There is still where the old dam was, there's a gate or, a tube with a gate that's closed.
he drained his, I believe. He drained all his ponds, did he not?
Well, he tried to, but they keep filling up. He's got all kinds of springs on his land as well.
So the house you're replacing will be, if anything, slightly further away from the pond or about the same, or close to the
But
same.
we'd like to be as close as possible,
It will be
because
closer.
it really sits right on the top of a hill there, and then it goes down to the pond, and it's real scenic. I mean, it looks good. We wanted a nice deck all the way around it, or porch, so you can sit out there and look at nature, whatever.
And if I could jump in, we tried to bring it as farther than 50 feet. The problem is then it starts getting in the way of the garage. So basically I tried to fit it with the least amount. I think one corner is going to bed up to the 50, not go over, but bed it up to the 50-foot mark. But again, we tried to optimize as much as possible, also ensuring that none of it would go over the Crystal Creek setback as well.
So is that 50-foot variance, is that with the deck or without the deck?
With the deck.
With the deck. Mhm.
And I see the septic is gonna have to come to the field.
Right, but and of course, if we move the house, the septic goes further into the field, and we want to avoid that. Right now, it can be placed just a little left of the access road and won't really have a big effect. Won't lose much land in the cornfield there.
So how did that house survived the 2007 flood?
It never came close to the house. But the creek moved about 30 feet closer to the house, but that's about it. Yeah, it was high and dry. I would say it was probably 4 or 5 feet above the flood stage at that level. It's a heck of a drop off down to the creek.
Was that over the bank on the trout pond then?
Some flowed off the hill into the trout pond, but it never, and it filled it. I can't say that it ran over it. I don't know. I could see that there was debris from the cornfield approaching the pond, but I didn't see it on the other side where it would have flowed over. So I think it caught it, probably came up and then drained down to the level that we hold it at.
So by putting these old artifacts into the house, is that a way to get that house built?
Yeah, it's mainly they'll be, for aesthetics. And then we say, yeah, that was in the farm 160 years ago and it's still here. Things like that.
Because I noticed when you took the house down, you left the back half.
Now, that was a woodshed that was added to the house about 30 years ago by my Uncle Frank. And while we were tearing the house down, somebody told me, well, if you leave something up, you might be able to call it a rebuild, remodel. So I left it stand, and then I found out, well, that wasn't nearly enough. So I tore that down.
Okay, that was my question.
Well, the creek bank, behind your buildings there is in really good shape. Along the creek,
Yeah,
bank side, everything looks like you've maybe dumped some riprap and stuff in there at one time.
very carefully, because I know it can't touch the
I mean,
water.
away from the water.
Right.
It's really in good shape.
Well, thank you,
Very
because it
nice,
looked
very
really
nice
bad
shape.
after that flood.
Yep.
And it looked like we might lose the road in front of the barn for a little bit.
What the DNR has written, they're pretty adamant though on that 100-foot.
Yeah, and I noticed when I was going through things this afternoon, when you look through her review, she did include 3 proposed conditions. If you did choose to approve it, that I did not include in the board packet. So I guess I just want to draw attention to the fact that those were there.
So, I mean, we can go ahead and approve, hypothetically, we'd approve this, but it appears that you're gonna be running into their adamancy in regard to the repeated comments we don't want this approved. What kind of a problem we're gonna be running into?
I believe they could potentially appeal that, but, I mean, that's their choice. I don't know what route they would go.
Well, if this is not public waters, how can the DNR enforce it?
If you look at your county maps, that is not public water there, but yet they're now saying they want it to be.
Well, that would be one of the first hurdles.
Yeah,
We've got numerous things going on here and making it a private waters as it's been over the years, but if the DNR changes, and which they have been known to do, so if it is public waters, it's a tributary of Crystal Creek, that would be, I mean, I don't have a problem putting a house there. I really don't. But the fact of this, it appears you're going to be running into a battle with the DNR through this whole thing. Forgive me, I'm reading this and the information that's been given here.
Yep.
And it repeatedly says, we want this denied. So, pick your fight.
I don't understand their reasoning.
I mean, that's not for this board to determine.
I'm sorry, I should have said.
No, and that's fine, and your argument could be compelling. The history and the artifacts and all that, they're wonderful, but, and I'm not trying to marginalize it. But the fact is, do we want to, what kind of a fight do you want? And in terms of with the DNR. So this is what this board needs to know. I mean, rather, there's no sense in poking the bear if we don't have to. Guys, help me out here.
I read that too, and that's what I was thinking too, is the DNR wants this denied. And how are we gonna,
But are they
what
going-
way can we take?
Are they going to, is the DNR going to actually pay, or is it eminent domain because it's private property?
That's what I wonder, like, do we need a lawyer here looking at this for our
And I
case?
look at it that, the permit was there, granted the variance to build that pond, that's not a natural pond. They're expecting. So is that little water pond on your property, public waters also?
No,
That's the problem I have with,
Well, you know, any pond you build is gonna drain into a tributary someplace.
at some point it does.
I question, not question anybody, I question myself. Is the DNR going to take this ball and run with it, or are they just going to look the other way? You know, I mean, that's something we don't know as a board. I think what we have to do is make a decision and
I hope we don't, so they don't have to.
right.
And I guess keep in
We
mind
will
that
have public comments.
any
in a
decision you
minute.
guys make could be appealed in any of
Right.
these.
Right.
so what I'm feeling is that house was there in the 1800s, 1860s.
Yep.
Ever since I've lived, I'm up on the ridge above you,
Okay.
and it's always been there. There's never been a problem. So I don't see why they can't put another house right where the old one was.
Yep, I agree with you.
But the elevation of the house is way above the ponds. That'd be 30 feet a rise, I would think.
And they're spring fed, so you've got water flowing through there.
All
time.
continuously, yep.
I couldn't believe the flow there, even now in this drier weather. Really good
You
flow.
hardly see any change in the volume year after year. It
Really.
keeps coming, and we love it.
And one of the DNR's complaints was you're warming up the water with that pond. But
It's hardly
What's
at
been
all. I mean,
floating in
there's
that creek?
such a flow. You know, there may
Don't
be a
see
couple
the
of degrees
problem.
on a hot day, but it's still coming out colder than the creek when it enters. You know, because the creek warms up on a hot day too.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is fact, but my neighbors out there tell me that the trout stream portion of the creek ends well north of where we want to put the house. So if that is true, we're not really dumping it into a trout stream anyhow. But again, apparently they can say whatever they want. And,
I think we're just going by the information that's been given us here, you know, and in regard to what the DNR has been saying. So, again, I'm fine with the house being put where you were gonna put it. It's just the ramifications. And Amelia, you can step in here. What do you, with the DNR? This isn't our first rodeo with the DNR, so that's what I'm,
Yeah, right. She did a very thorough job of explaining where they're coming from. We've been working at this a couple months prior to him making the application and trying to find a resolution. But it all comes down to the fact that is mapped tributary at the point that these ponds discharge, and that's pond 5. And so that is where the classification of public water's coming in, because all those ponds are connected. And so I tried to ask about options as far as, so if you look at like figure 5 on page 25 there. So there's just a, like an 8-inch pipe that connects those two ponds, and like, could that be removed? But it wasn't that simple of a process. They wanted, as you can see in one of her diagrams, they wanted them to build a new dike and then keep the spring flow around everything. So then that would cut pond 3 off though from any kind of fresh water. But I don't know. I'm assuming you guys weren't planning on a total overhaul of the ponds though as part of your project either, so,
We were hoping not to.
yeah.
No, and the ponds are legally permitted from 91. They're functional, and I don't think it's fair for the DNR to try to push us to modify on this request. And I think with that proposal, I read through the DNR's comments, and I talked with the representative, and I think the representative thinks very strongly. I think has her own cause, which I think is noble, but I don't think she's the final authority to appeal if this were to be approved. It's probably the DNR is going to have to decide, hey, is this something we actually want to fight? Is this actually public waters? Also, because really the only connection to the pond 5 is that small closed off pipe. And when I asked about what if we just close that pipe off, they were like, oh, let's not talk about that. So I think you have a very active representative who definitely would want to push to fight a potential if this was granted. However, I don't know if the rest of the DNR or the legal or supervisor would push that or not. And even if it did come to that, like I've been trying to been open with Amelia and with the DNR as well, and that's why originally we pulled back on the trying to push it there. But then again, like I said, after trying to look at different places to put the house and seeing what other ramifications there were, that's why we came back to this, because this is just ultimately the least disruptive, not just the historic, but it is the least disruptive, and I think that's for the farm and the county. We're trying to be open. I don't want to create headaches for you all. I don't want to create headaches for us. We just want to build this home and continue the family legacy. And I apologize if this puts the county in a bad situation. So that's not our intent at all.
Any more questions from the board?
Well, if they put the house in the cornfield, they lose the cornfield.
No.
I was just gonna add too, that was part of her concern. When you look at the property for, all intents and purposes, it looks like a wide open field where you could relocate a house in any of that. And so that's where she's also coming from, is that, with a variance, you have to argue what is your practical difficulty in just meeting the standards. And like I said, it looks like there's another location on the other side of the driveway where that could be relocated.
Where the old house sat was good and firm. There's a lot of sand in there the way it looks.
Well,
Now in a wet year, that field gets pretty springy, don't it?
it does.
So in my experience around this area, I think where you want to put that home is still the best place.
I am certain that is the best spot for the house.
I've seen that cornfield pretty wet before,
Yeah,
so.
it can get pretty soupy once in a while. And I don't know if I should bring this up or not, we asked Amelia to meet me out, or not Amelia, the DNR lady?
Oh, Nicole.
Nicole, to meet me out there, and I would show her that pond 3 does not empty into pond 4 and that, and so I went out there to meet her and she never showed up. So it's like she doesn't want to see it.
I think they're afraid to say something they shouldn't.
I'm very afraid I'm going to say something I shouldn't.
No, I mean that she would agree with something that would come back on her,
Maybe.
So they're pretty cautious on coming to sites. I know that. We've had several instances where they say they're gonna come and they don't, so I know what you're saying there.
Any more questions from the board?
Well, it
can
looks
ask.
like they want to be stewards of the land.
I think they got a good plan, so.
Well, we can discuss it a little more later. We'll go to public comments if you want to step down, please.
Sure thing. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, you come forward and state your name and.
It's probably moved at this point, but Rebecca Christensen, Jordan's aunt. Hi, Jordan.
Okay.
My comment was just, would that being in place for so long be a protection for them? And at the moment, I'm lost for the word that I'm looking for. But since it's been there for forever, they're not really changing anything. They're just putting same type of building in the same spot. And I don't know if that would be any protection for them versus the DNR, or if, I don't know. It's just a comment that I thought would maybe be
Yeah,
helpful.
well taken. Thank you.
Well, the DNR is saying that pond 3 was added, you know. The house was there before.
Right, but since
But-
the house has been there this whole time
Yeah.
and the ponds were there
Right.
and approved, licensed, what permitted, whatever, you're really not changing anything. The only thing is, it's a new house, something even safer than the old house,
Right.
that close to the water, and with new septic and everything. I mean, it's actually better than what was there before. So I would think that should weigh in with the DNR some, I would hope. Because if you swapped it out and put the house in the field and used the area where the house was as a field, then you're inviting chemicals near the water. So it doesn't make any sense to me anyway to put anything but the house where it's at, or where it would be, versus, anyway,
Thank you.
grandfathered in, that's what I was trying to think of. So anyway, just my thought.
Any other public comments?
John Haynes from Houston. One thing that occurred to me on pushing back on the DNR on this, and we really don't need St. Paul and Houston County. I wonder if another power would be talk to the Historical Society people. DNR wants to push one way, let them push against another forest. Just something to think about.
Okay, any other public comments?
Bruce Lee, I'm the neighbor down the road. My wife and I support this thing. Prefer to see the house where it is, what it's worth.
To me, it's a good pedestal where the old house was. Agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we'll close the public comments and we'll go to the findings.
All right, so number one, that the variance request is in harmony with the intent and purpose of official controls. Analysis states that the proposed structure is an allowable use in the agricultural protection district, and the setback request is an area variance allowed by the ordinance. Redevelopment of existing sites reduces conversions of tillable acreage and minimizes the impact on the natural topography, which are goals of the land use plan. If we could do this one in roll call, and if you guys could provide your reasoning too, that would be helpful. Ken Anderson,
I'll agree.
Dean Hoppel,
Agree.
Franklin,
Yes, I agree.
Dave,
Agreed.
and Wayne Renigan.
Yes.
Number two, that there are practical difficulties in complying with the official controls and the proposed use of the property is reasonable. Economic considerations alone do not constitute practical difficulties. Analysis states that the replacement of a dwelling is a reasonable use of property, as is the request to preserve valuable farmland and structures. The applicant's desire to relocate the dwelling in the proposed location seems not to be driven by economic factors, but rather a desire to minimize site disturbance. Dean,
Agree.
Franklin,
Yes,
Dave?
Yes.
Wayne?
Yes, I agree, because where they want to put the house is a better place than that cornfield up on the level that gets wet in the wet years.
And Ken?
I agree, and mostly because they're just replacing a structure, a house on the same location as it was existing. And that was just being torn down this year, not something that's been vacant for a long time.
Number 3, that the variance request is due to special conditions or circumstances unique to the property and not created by the property owner. Analysis states that a prior owner of the property constructed the ponds, likely not realizing the future impact of that request due to legislation that has been clarified in the interim. Franklin?
I agree. I don't take a lot of stock in what the DNR is trying to propose on them now, because the DNR was involved when they put them ponds in. It was all okay at that time.
Dave Klinsky?
Agreed, and with what Franklin said, changing the rules, just because, what I'm looking at, the rationale, okay, I can see the DNR's rationale, but the fact is that they approved it from the get-go back in 91 or wherever it was, is on them, not on us. So we shouldn't have to be, even though I did bring it up here, we shouldn't have to be the ones that have to defend what we're doing. So, anyway.
Wayne?
I agree. I'm a neighbor, and I've been there when they built the ponds. I've seen how this all works. Everything is working great. It never got flooded. I don't see any problems putting that house where they want
it. Ken?
I agree.
And Dean?
Agree.
4, that the variance cannot be alleviated by a reasonable method other than a variance, and the minimum variance which would alleviate the practical difficulty is sought. Analysis states that the dwelling could be relocated to adjacent tillable acreage, but that land is classified as some of the most productive in the county. And keeping the structure in the same general location and just moving it away from the pond creates a logistics issue with an existing agricultural structure that would ultimately require its removal or relocation into the tillable acreage. Alternatively, the DNR proposed modifications to the ponds to eliminate their status as public waters. The BOA may not consider any of these options as feasible alternatives. Franklin?
Yes, I agree.
Dave?
Yes.
Wayne?
Yes, I agree, because the soil down there is better than it is up on top for building.
Ken?
I agree. And I question the statement that that's public waters.
And Dean?
Agree.
5, that the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality nor substantially impair property values or the public health, safety, or welfare in the vicinity. Analysis states that the replacement of a farm dwelling on this parcel will not alter the essential character of the locality, and the proposed location is where the original dwelling was located, and it should not impact public health, safety, or welfare in the vicinity. Dave?
Agreed.
Wayne?
Yes,
Ken?
Yes, I agree.
Dean?
Agree.
And Franklin?
Yes, I agree.
And 5, that the request is not a use variance and shall not have the effect of allowing any use that is not allowed in the zoning district, permit a lower degree of flood protection than the regulatory flood protection elevation, or permit standards lower than those required by state law. Analysis states that this is an area variance and does not permit a lower degree of flood protection than the regulatory flood protection elevation. Wayne?
yes,
Ken?
Yes.
Dean?
Agree.
Franklin,
Yes, I agree.
and Dave.
Yes.
So, want a motion to accept the findings?
Need a motion to approve the findings?
Yeah.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. As, you want to read the proposed motion?
Yeah, so it'd be a motion to grant a variance of 50 feet to meet the ordinary high water level setback to pond number 3 as referenced in this packet. Would you like me to read the conditions that they proposed, or
If you want
entertain
to.
them at all?
How many did they have, you said? 3?
They had 3. They're on page 22 if you wanted to look at them. So they're proposing, 1, that the new home can be constructed 50 feet from the water's edge of Pond 3, only if the surface water connection of Pond 3 is disconnected from public waters. That's Pond 1, 2, 4, and 5, by opening the closed shut-off valve or removing it so spring water discharges to the designated trout stream tributary in Crystal Creek and bypasses Pond 3. 2, that the outlet pipe in Pond 3 is permanently capped or removed so warm water from Pond 3 does not discharge into Crystal Creek, a DNR designated trout stream and public water course. And that's in figure 7 right next to it. And then, 3, that items 1 and 2 would require a DNR public water work permit. But those are substantial projects, so I guess if Jordan or Herb wanted to comment on that.
Well, that's just my opinion. I think the board should, if we want to approve it, we approve it as the motion was proposed to us. That's just my suggestion.
I will make the motion to approve the 50-foot, as you initial of no conditions.
I think that's
Second it.
That's a pretty clean motion, I think. I agree.
I'll make
Okay,
that motion.
we got a motion and we got a second.
That was Wayne on the second.
Any more discussion before we vote? Roll call vote, please.
Ken Anderson,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Wayne.
Aye.
Motion is carried and good luck with your project.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Any thing the board wants to discuss before we adjourn? Make a motion.
Anything new coming up?
I don't have anything right now.
No.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.